Today I wanted to take you on a tour with me as we go through all of my garden spaces. And I'm using the term garden to describe any of the places I've planted different plants. I was surprised the first time I heard people refer to a flower garden as just a garden. I always thought gardens had to be produce, but I love that terminology as someone who's going to plant a lot of flowers and really enjoys bushes and other flowering plants. I want to use the word garden to describe it all. So without further ado, join me as we go and tour my different garden spaces. Before we start the tour, I want to introduce myself really quickly. I am Abby Rose, and together with my husband, Dan and Rose, our little daughter, Miriam, we live on the Rustic Rose Ranch. We are growing our homestead. We have been doing this for just about 2 years is when we bought this place. So as you come on the tour, you're going to see a lot of things have just gotten started. So that definitely impacts. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know the whole purpose of this channel is to take you with us as we grow our homestead, show you what we learned, mistakes made, and hopefully inspire you to grow your own beautiful oasis in nature. So plan today, I'm going to take you into my vegetable garden. It is our fenced-in garden. It's going to have a lot of vegetables and some cut flowers. Then I'll take you upstairs to show you the starts that I have going that are going to come out after the danger of the last frost. We are here in Zone 7B. It is March 16th, so much too early to plant things here that are going to get cold or can't get cold. The danger of last frost, or the last frost date for us is about the middle of April, May 1st to be very safe. So May 1st is when I'll bring those plants outside. They're still inside and I'll show you them. Then we're going to go around front to the first garden space I am developing. It is inside of our circle drive. And lastly, the part I'm most excited to show you because it has been developed the longest, I'm going to show you the flower garden I created with my mother-in-law, Katie. We worked on that 3 years ago for mine and Dannon's wedding, and it was so wonderful to be a part of that. So I'm going to go show you kind of what we did together and some of her landscape, because I think that really well reflects what I am building towards. So in my place you get to see the start, and at her place you get to see kind of what it looks like after a few years. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to show you guys is this little spot I'm standing here. This is my memorial for my father. So my father passed away at the end of January, and my mother-in-law got me this beautiful bench, and we have 2 gorgeous redbud trees that are blooming, and I am so thankful to have this beautiful space. It kind of frames the front of my garden. And let's go inside and see more. In the future, we are going to frame in this garden fence with some wood along the top, and we're going to make me a gate, which will make it a lot prettier. For now, we have to worry about functionality, so I still need to close up the paneling, and it's super easy just to wire it, and then I can come in just like that. I do have to make sure to keep it closed. Not really because of the dog. Vale could have came in if she wanted to. But we do keep it closed because of the chickens. I don't want any chickens getting into my garden, so it is really important to me to keep that closed. Okay, so as you look over here, that black tub is just a cow water tub. I have been slowly using the water out of it to water my garden in different areas. It's going to get moved out. We had a couple cows staying in here to eat it down back in about December or January. So I have 4 different raised garden beds that are still in the process of being built. They've been framed and stained for the most part, but we have to finish a couple more details. I wanted to use today to talk about the importance of starting before you know exactly what to do. I think it's really easy to want to wait to start until you have watched enough YouTube videos and you know perfectly what to do to build the garden space, but that is not necessary. It's okay to make mistakes. 90% of them can be solved. So, good example. On our raised garden beds, you can see the places that aren't stained yet, they're little pieces of board. We needed that because, so there's two ways that you can nail together boards. They're this way where they're flat against each other, and then we could have kept these at the same level. So this board here could have been came in right beside this board, and you would have had to toenail it in to nail it together. All of that to say, we decided to make these stout corners. The problem was, where the tin is screwed to, these boards are farther out than these up and down vertical boards that you see here. So that means the tin could not have been screwed to them. So we did have to come back and screw in these extra little pieces to support the middle of the tin. And we have to get some more pieces for the corners. So that is what I'm waiting on right now. I got to get those pieces and restain it. I will show you with the finished bed a little bit more what I am talking about. So see here how the tin butts up against this stick. These are the corner pieces. We ripped them in half and we use them against the tin. So this is all really stout now. We had to do this or this would be way bowed out. So that was our first mistake. Not that hard to fix. Great example of how mistakes are really just hurdles or things that you have to overcome just a little bit, and it's super easy to do that. Second thing, okay, I want to say, like, this video, we are going to highlight a few of the mistakes I made just to keep you from making them. I want to be like, I promise we know what we're doing, but in a way we don't always know what we're doing, obviously. We know enough to at least know how to put boards together and fix our mistakes, but we're learning a lot along the way, as any new person at any endeavor will do. I mean, the only other option would have been to continue to sit and watch YouTube and try to learn everything, and then we would not have as much done. So it's kind of worth it to make the mistakes and have more done. Okay, so I will show you the second thing that is kind of a mistake, but I don't mind it. So our beds, we decided to make them 12 feet long by 2 feet, and issue with that is you can kind of see they bowed out just a little bit because we didn't put an anchor support in the middle. I personally don't like straight lines in my garden. I don't even want to do straight rows. I like kind of the batching look, and I think the curves are really pretty, so I'm probably not going to fix these garden beds. We might add in support before we do the other ones, but even then, they're not, I mean, unless you look at them from the end, it's not that obvious that they're bowed at all, and so I don't really mind it. They're really solid. Haven't changed the amount even after a rain, so I think we're okay. Hey, speaking of the rain, one thing that did happen is when we filled up the bottom of these beds with sticks, so you can see our stick pile over there. We filled up the bottom of these beds with some sticks and put dirt in on top. I should have taken the additional step of going ahead and watering down that dirt. If I had done that, then we would not be looking at these holes, chasms where the dirt has sank into the brush. So we got a really, really strong storm yesterday, and this is the result. And the problem with that is this bed has been planted, so I think I'm just gonna leave it and see how much comes up, and then as soon as I start having seedlings come up, wherever there's bare spots, I'll plant new seeds. But I don't want to just call it off and throw dirt back on it and not at least wait for my seedlings to come up. I planted those seedlings Wednesday, so it hasn't even been, today is Saturday, so it hasn't even been like a full 3 days. So I don't expect any of them to come up just yet. One thing I did, so the dirt, it was a little more clayey than I would have liked. You can kind of see here. So I did, this bag that's laying here is peat moss. I decided to go ahead and cover up the dirt with that peat moss. So that, in this bed, what I have going on is I have peas planted there in the back. And then I have some root vegetables here, some radishes. I have some lettuce. Actually, this is lettuce, radishes. We have some chamomile, some kale, chives, and carrots, and arugula, and some columbine flower. So I got a mixing here of early spring flowers, some root vegetables, and salad. I really love the look of it all mixed together. Excited for this hopefully to come up some, and I'll show you then. I do have to water this, so after I get done showing you it, I do need to water it. Over here, luckily this bed wasn't planted yet. I've been meaning to plant it. What I plan to do with this bed is now throw in some more even better topsoil that we got after we filled this up, put some more compost in here, mix it together, and then plant my onions. And however much room is left, I probably will plant some more root vegetables. Okay, by onions I mean like the larger red onions. Root vegetables, I'm talking carrots, radishes, maybe small green onions. Okay, over here we have Miriam's playhouse and her garden tools. She has to have a spot to work while I am working on my projects. We have some leaves for mulch. I'm going to use them between raised garden beds and places that aren't planted and all around my plants. Here is a garden bed. I still need to screw on these supports and the other ones. Then we'll screw on tin. This piece of tin goes with it. You have to just excuse the materials laying around. We're in the middle of construction. Okay, that is the branches that go in it. I'm still going to use these branches to fill up the bottom half of the next 4 raised beds that we make. And the only thing different that I am going to do is I'm going to make sure to water them a whole lot. I'm going to put in like 1 load, then I'm going to douse it with water, and then another one, and then douse it with as much water as possible, so we don't have the soil dropping like it did in the raised beds. This compost, we did buy it. Future, we hopefully won't have to. I do have a little compost area. I'm going to do others. Here is a bunch of bag of soil we've had for like 5-6 years that have just kind of traveled with us. They're all tore up because some chickens got in here and scratched them terribly. I need to spread them and actually use the soil so I don't have to worry about plastic getting all over the ground in here. I don't even like plastic bags at all. Unfortunately, it's hard to find soil not in plastic bag, except in bulk. And now we do buy it in bulk, so we won't have to buy more bags like that for the most part. My wheelbarrow, which had some not as good soil in it, I'm gonna take this soil. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh well. I'm gonna take that soil and dump it at the end of our shed that's over there. I'm going to fill that area up, and then don't know if the lighting will allow you to see it. We have a good dirt pile over there. I'm gonna grab some more dirt from with that wheelbarrow. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything here. I'm really excited for these to be tinned in, so soon we'll have these beds here, these 2 beds here, 1 more bed here, and another bed here. And then over here, the plan is, so that one won't be there, it'll be up against that fence. The plan is I'm going to make a lot of rows of topsoil, so I don't really like digging down. I'm going to put topsoil on top of this clover, and I'm going to make beds for my okra, my corn, and potatoes. The potatoes are going to come first. One thing I learned with potatoes, I'll show you a little bit more when I do it, is you could just put potatoes on the ground. Like, it's good to not have weeds on it, so I'm going to put some topsoil down and then put them on the topsoil, and then I'm just going to cover them with some old hay that wasn't eaten by our cows. So that is kind of the plan for in this garden. I am so excited for my next tour in a few weeks when this should all look a lot different. So over here on the kitchen table, I am working on planting some more of my culinary herbs like rosemary, thyme, sage, some chives, basil, cilantro, parsley, mint, just different culinary herbs. I'm going to plant them in here. I hadn't finished that yet. I did finish planting my flowers, so I'm going to take this back upstairs and show you what I have going on there. So upstairs here in the hallway is my grow station. I love that it's right in the hallway to our bedroom and my office because it keeps me accountable to checking it and watering them. I started my vegetables that needed to be planted like 8 weeks before the last frost, mid-February, and this is what we got going so far. We have some nice peppers, as well as some cauliflower and broccoli. I have some echinacea and lavender. So these are a little bit sparse because I tried to use some old seeds and they didn't come up. And so I ended up with a lot of things that had to be replanted. Up here, I planted this in the 1st of March. It is my tomatoes. We have some cantaloupe here, lots and lots and lots of tomatoes. Dannon loves his tomatoes. And here I just planted this. We have my flowers. I have delphiniums, cosmos, and snapdragons in here. And then in here I have a lot of zinnias and some well, let me see. Oh, bachelor's button. So I have some bachelor's button, zinnias, and a little more cosmos, some Cape daisies, and yarrow. Down here is just some more tomatoes, and in here we have some more pepper plants. We have some lavender, we have a little bit of echinacea, some sage, and then some eggplant. I had to remember for a second. I do have this all written down in a little booklet, so I'm not just counting on myself to remember. So I know that there is a lot more plants and there's a lot more varieties that I could plant. I did take it kind of small this year. I just planted the foods I know we will use and not that many different varieties. This year is all about practicing making things grow. It's not as much about finding the perfect variety and having a lot of different types of variety of the same plant. So that when I say like eggplant, we only had one type. I don't even remember which one it was. I got most of my seeds this year just from a big box store. In the future, I'd like to order them online and start seed saving. This year, I just didn't have the time. I thought I had plenty of seeds. They ended up not working, so I just went to the store and got whatever seeds I could just to have some more to plant. The one I had the most variety on is tomatoes. I had different cherry tomatoes, some yellow cherries, some mixed. Then I had bigger ones. I had like Cherokee purple and beefsteak and just a bunch of different ones. I could do a video all on my different seed choices in the future, and as I show those plants coming up and bearing fruit, I will tell you which ones they were and what I thought about their propagation and how they came up. The next area I'm going to show you is my future flower garden that is in front of our home. We are going to have concrete here eventually. We have a lot of white gravel to keep it from being muddy. Here in the middle is going to be my little spot, my place to grow. I'm going to line this with some creek rocks all the way around, which will help establish a perfect circle, or as perfect as possible, and kind of get a nice split between the gravel and the grass. Plans for this circle include some peonies, some, which I actually can't remember the right way to pronounce that. Anyway, I want to do some of my flowers I planted, like especially the delphiniums I'm going to plant up front. Some of them I will plant in my garden. I want the pollinators, our bees, to love my garden space, but I also want a lot of color up front. I have a bunch of other flowers that just are direct sow that I will also put here in the front circle. The flowers that I have already going on, that are already planted, that is, are my irises. So here I have a nice group of irises. I got those from Katie. We did a bunch of splits in the fall. I also planted some tulips in the fall, and they are coming up. Wow, that's cool. Look at that. I did not know it would have a bloom that small. That's so cool. Okay, anyway, have fun. That's the first color on my farm. So, first color of the farm. I love it. Actually, by color on the farm, I mean the first color I've cultivated on the farm. There's actually a bunch of color on the farm. We have some beautiful purple flowers. We have these that are on, I forget what kind of plant this is. The bees love this. Tell me what plant this is in the comments if you know. Otherwise, I need to look it up. I think it's in the mint family. I know the pollinators, the bees love them. We have quite a bit up our lane. We have some yellow flowers growing, some other small blue flowers. So there is some color, but that is the first color that I have planted, which there's a certain joy in knowing I was the one who planted it. I do have some trees planted here. I'm going to plant a ginormous, well, it won't be giant when you start. I'm going to plant an oak there in the middle, and so I want this to be a beautiful mix of different size plants. I'll show you them in just a second when I go up to Katie's, but she has a bunch of different bushing plants like lilacs and for Cynthia, and I'm gonna get some starts from her and build that this year. So a lot of my spaces have a long ways to go, and I'm so excited in like 4 or 5 months to show you how far we've gotten. This is awesome to have a log of what it looked like on March 16th, and I'll get to see the comparison in the middle of July. We're going for a short walk down the road to Dannon's parents' house so I can show you what the flower bed looks like that I put in with his mom. We love this pathway between the two houses. It's about a 1/4 mile long, and it's a good way to get a little exercise and have some time together in nature as a family.
It's a good place to stay.
I came up to Dannon's parents' house yesterday with him with the intention of recording the footage of their garden. I did end up getting a lot of good B-roll footage I'll be showing you along the way, but I felt way too awkward to talk about it as I went. So I'm coming back up here. It's the next day to really quickly go through and actually talk about what the plants are, kind of what the story is behind it. So let's go. So Katie and Pete built this house. The outside was finished 3 summers ago, so 2021, and Dana and I had our wedding here right when it was finished before they had moved in. So it created such a beautiful venue. It was just absolutely gorgeous. Well, I forgot to charge the battery on my camera, so it died. But for the sake of not going back home and charging it and running into the same problem of not having of Dannon's parents being home, let me go ahead and film it. And by the way, his parents are totally fine with me filming this. I just feel awkward talking in front of them, so if I wait and film it when they're home, then the footage will be kind of the same as last time. And I did want to walk you through what was happening. So, like I was talking before my camera died, I helped Katie a lot with this flower bed because we were preparing for my wedding, and I also just love planting. It was a wonderful time to bond together. So let's look at what we did. The first flower bed we have runs the entire front of their house. When we first built it, we only had this black plastic. Later, for Mother's Day, I came back in and built this little rock border on it, and I think it just ties it together so nicely. We have a lot of rose bushes here, which I love. I'm going to take cuttings from them later this year once they have bloomed and have a lot of new growth. So we have lots of rose bushes. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what everything is. Most of it is blooming. I know we have some lavender, and I don't remember what most of the other small plants are called, unfortunately. I'll have to get back to you when they actually bloom. I know though the biggest stars that show here are these rose bushes. I'll include a photo here of what they look like in the height of their blooming season. This, of course, is not their blooming season, so they're not as showy as they are otherwise. In this little area, we have a beautiful lily that we actually got Katie for Mother's Day the following year. I'm glad she loves plants like I do, because it makes it a lot easier to figure out what to do for her. We have this ground cover. I have to remember what the name is. She told me that last night. Absolutely beautiful. It has really taken off. They have this adorable little sitting area out here to enjoy in their smoker. And then on this side is one of my favorite parts. Has a bunch of bushes that are coming up, some rose bushes. This bush bloomed for the first time this year. I love its vibrant, almost like neon green leaves. So beautiful. You know, some forsythias, some hydrangeas, a butterfly bush. Katie was not positive whether or not they regrew on old growth, so she didn't cut it back. We definitely can see now that they don't, so she's going to cut that back. More butterfly bushes, more hydrangeas, more forsythias, another one of that gorgeous bush, which if somebody wants to tell me in the comments what this is, I'd love that. My plan for my own garden space in the circle driveway is to take a bunch of cuttings and grow some bushes from what she has, just to save money, and yeah, mostly just to save money. Has this little area here, which is beautiful. There's her ponies. So all in all, such a gorgeous garden area. So thankful I could be a part of that. She has other bushes, like other lilacs. We did plant some of the lilacs together. Some of the things have been here for a really long time, like this beautiful iris bed here, and she has other bigger bushes that have been here for a much longer time. Katie's flower beds are a wonderful reminder of what mine can look like in a few years. It does take time to get those established, so of course mine will take a few years. It'll take even longer with me starting things from seeds and cuttings. If I went and bought bigger bushes, I could definitely have the results quicker. Probably will buy some bigger bushes for special occasions, but I want to save some money, so I'm going to do a lot from cuttings and seeds. So it'll take a few years, but it's definitely worth the wait. I look forward to showing you everything when it has come up a lot more. It is not at its peak because we are just at the middle of March right now. So there's a lot more growth and beauty to happen, and I'm so excited to show you that.